Hi again, Kion here. Welcome to another episode of Sketching from the Neck Up. I just recently met a young man who's went into high school late, and he had a worried face because he was worried about whether he could get ahead in life without material wealth. Once upon a time, I thought the same thing because how can a handicap like myself make such money to survive in this world? Well, I tell you, I wish I had somebody to tell me to get to know who Jesus is, because it is only through Jesus that I found out that I can actually live my life exactly like the way Jesus did and thrive. Let me show you how. Uh, we like to say that we learn from other people's lifestyle. Well, believe it or not, Jesus' lifestyle is exemplary. We just don't see it and we don't recognize the value of how he lived his life fully. Let me highlight some of Jesus' activities during his first 2 to 3 year ministry before he went to the cross. After being baptized by John the Baptist on the Jordan River, he went for 40 days and 40 nights the wilderness of Judah. Then he traveled back up north to the region of Galilee, where he spent most of the first 2.5 years going from one village to another, collecting disciples, uh, performing miracles the like the changing of wine, the healing of people, even bringing a little girl from death, the raising a young man who was also ready to be buried. The he released men and women who were possessed by the demons. There was a lot of things that Jesus did, including and going from village to village to village, teaching and bringing the gospel to them, shedding light on all things about God and His kingdom. Let us not forget that He also fed thousands of people, twice in fact, with nothing but a couple of fish and a number of barley bread. And he did this with no infrastructure to support him, no organization. Everything that he went out to do, he completed, because it's according to what his father wanted him to do. What was the secret of his successful lifestyle? There are a number of factors. However, for this video, I will only focus on one which I believe is more pertinent to our way of life. What's his secret? Well, whatever life could put before him, whether it be trials, persecution, anything, he just did not worry. Yep, that's right. He just did not worry. Exactly what he thought to his disciples. I know what many of you are thinking of, that Jesus was God, so there's no real reason for him to worry. After all, he could perform miracles. He is God. But at the time that Jesus walked the earth, he chose to be man. In other words, he gave up the powers of deity to be a man. That was part of his task. That's what many people don't realize, that Jesus was in this world as a man, and had the same frailties as we did. He shared the same pain. He was hungry. He needed clothes to wear. Those kind of things. The only difference was he knew the one truth, that he never had to worry. What was that truth? The truth was he knew that God will always provide. And that truth is for us as well, if we believe. In my next video, we'll talk a little bit on how not to worry so much. For now, I encourage you, get to know Jesus more. Read his story. I suggest the book of Mark. You know why? Because the book of Mark was written for the busy person. Yep, it's an action-packed book and quite exciting to read if you read it through. But slow down. Get to know who Jesus really is, like the way I did. And trust me, your eyes will be opened. So, this is Yog saying, Cheerios, to God be all the glory.